Sam Neill, Laura Dern, Richard Attenborough too, Jeff Goldblum, a couple kids, and Samuel Jackson, Wayne Knight, and others on this island paradise. B.D. Wong had 2 minutes of screen time. T-Rex and raptors and spinny dinosaurs. Spielberg's epic is 30 years old. I'm John Renton with the retro review of Jurassic Park. Welcome to Jurassic Park. You know, Richard Attenborough actually got this role because Sean Connery turned it down. Imagine Sean Connery. It's like, oh, I should have had it. Oh, grandkids, I'm so happy to see you. I'm a Spaniard. No, you're not, Connery. Also, why are you here? You died 3 years ago. Yeah, imagine Sean Connery playing Dr. Hammond. That would have been hilarious. But yes, Steven Spielberg's epic that made tons of money at the box office and launched a sequel, and then a third movie, and then a rebooted trilogy that had Chris Pratt, who's not a very good guy at all. Read up on it. But nevertheless, David Coop, he wrote this. Check out his IMDb page. He's written a ton of stuff. And based on a novel by Michael Crichton, who actually had something to do with this because he was like, hey, I want to have some say in this. Okay, we'll do that, and we'll pay you $2 million to get the rights to this. Even before, I guess, the book was wildly successful, I believe. But they were like, we love it so much. It's like, here's $2 million. Money, go, go, go. Speaking of money, movie made a lot of it. Yeah, Sam Neill, Laura Dern. Laura Dern looked great in this. Jeff Goldblum, this is pretty much the movie that helped launch Jeff Goldblum more into the stratosphere. I mean, you would argue The Fly had already done that a number of years prior. Richard Attenborough, who lived to be about 90,000 years old, actually 90 years old, but he was around forever. I mean, good God, he remembers the First Scottish War. Still not as old as Zoe Stark. She actually remembers when Scotland wasn't even Scotland, it was just something else. And she and Van Haggis. If you are a non-wrestling fan, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And if you are a wrestling fan, you hate me. You hate me right now. Bob Peck was in this as Muldoon. That sounds like a Spanish pirate currency. And Martin Ferraro. And yes, B.D. Wong. The guy who was in... He was one of the main psychiatrists who was in the various Law & Order episodes. Yeah, Wayne Knight. Wayne Knight was in Seinfeld. Fuck Seinfeld. Seinfeld's a terrible show. Seinfeld, Friends... A lot of others, you know, from the 90s, I never understood the appeal. It's okay if people like Seinfeld. That's fine if you do. I never found it funny mainly because Jerry Seinfeld pisses me the hell off. But Julia Louis-Dreyfus, I would, and you would too. She's not in this. She's in You Hurt My Feelings. So yeah, basically a theme park that's going to be built around genetically engineered dinosaurs goes tits up. If you have not seen Jurassic Park, well, one, it's going to be spoiled, and two, have you been living under the rock? Then you were either Danny Garcia or whoever the hell his current wife is. Or many of the, pie eaten. Again, non-wrestling fans, very confused at this point. So, basically, Sam Neill plays Dr. Grant. This is years before Sam Neill was in Event Horizon, which I did not like. Years after he was in Possession. That's on Shudder currently. You should check that out after you watch Jurassic Park. So, yeah, he's digging up some bones, and then various shit goes south. The movie cost $63 million in 1993 money, basically just about double that, $132.2 million today. Seems shockingly low given what they got out of it. $404.2 million gross in the US and Canada. Again, just about double it. $848.5 million in change. $1.109 billion. It was the highest grossing movie until Titanic came along. I hate Titanic. I hate Avatar. James Cameron will go to hell for making bad movies like that. $2.328 million. So yeah, it did okay. I think it made its budget back. So basically, of course, so racist, the black guy dies first because they had him in charge of the raptor enclosure. I'm just going to talk about various scenes I like in this because if you've seen Jurassic Park, then you obviously know how the whole thing plays out. And even if you haven't, you probably can guess. But it's Spielberg. If this isn't top 5 for Spielberg, it's close. I mean, Spielberg's had a hell of a goddamn catalog. I mean, he even did Lost World Jurassic Park 2, which I don't think was as good as they thought it would be. It made money, though. So, at one point, at one point after this, after the black guy dies first because the raptor is so racist, we cut to Dr. Grant and Laura Dern's Ellie. They are digging. And that's Grant. He's a digger. No, Hulk. I said digger. God damn it, Hulk. And people still say that Hulk Hogan isn't. So, moving on from that. He does terrorize the kid that makes fun of the fact it looks like a big turkey. And he says, it's like it would take this claw and cut you across the intestines. That kid looks familiar, and I can't place it, and it's pissing me off. I did kind of find it funny when they launched the camera, the radar camera into the ground, and it was like, oh great, now the Grab Boys are going to come after us. Kevin Bacon's only here. Didn't Fred Ward die? So, they run into Dr. Hammond, who basically says, hey, not only are we getting sudden onset Richard Attenborough, the worst kind of Richard Attenborough, especially since he's been dead for nearly 10 years, that'd be frightening. Hey, come to my park and endorse it, and I'll fund your stuff for the next 3 years. This'll be fine. It's fine. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Come over here. It's an island off of Costa Rica. And then we have Wayne Knight's character getting introduced. He's eating at some outside restaurant, and this guy Dodgson comes up. Don't use my name. Dodgson, we got Dodgson here. See, no one cares. See, Wayne Knight was good here. Wayne Knight was good here. I read Jurassic Park, the book, a while ago. I know there are a few differences between the movie and the book. Obviously, there would have to be. The book is pretty big. And this movie, while beefy at just over 2 hours, has to condense a lot of the shit into, bite-sized chunks. And at PG-13, it was a little bit disappointing they didn't get to have as much violence. They got to have some, but it's smart they did PG-13 because this movie would have done well, but it was definitely a crowd-pleasing and terrifying blockbuster. This movie terrified me when I was 12 years old. I mean, and even there are some scenes that still make me think, oh yeah, this was utterly terrifying because Spielberg's actually good. When Spielberg is good, he's great. And when he's great, he's Spielberg. That's the best way I can come up with it. So yeah, Wayne Knight's character, basically, he's a computer nerd, and he is being given about $750,000, and then is being given a canister, a shaving cream canister that has coolant in it. And you get all these embryos, you put them in there, and you get us that, and you get $50,000 for each viable embryo. So if he can fit enough in there, he probably can end up making a mint of about $5 million. And the idea is he's going to shut down the system and he's going to escape. Meanwhile, we go to Jeff Goldblum's character, Malcolm, and he's kind of flirting with Laura Dern. Don't get me wrong, 1993 Laura Dern, I would have. I mean, nothing wrong with how she looks now. I mean, like everybody ages, but she's always looked good. But nevertheless, he's flirting with her, and Dr. Hammond says, I bring scientists, you bring a rock star. Party like a rock, party like a rock star. John Williams' score was phenomenal, and this is what I noted. This feels like a real place. I mean, it feels like a place that is obviously being built and being taken care of. And, a lot of money's being put into it, but it feels real. It doesn't feel like a series of sets. And even when it dissolves into, like, the typical summer blockbuster, it still feels alive. Sam Neill's reaction to seeing the dinosaurs, the long necks. At least we wouldn't be alone. Well, when I find others, I won't be alone. Three horns are very dangerous. God damn, they made 5 million Land Before Time movies, and there was only one good one. So anyway, bleak fucking movie, too. Don Bluth was bleak towards children. Is he still alive? So anyway, Sam Neill's reaction to the dinosaurs, and he's all aghast. Okay, after 30 years, sure, some of the CGI maybe is a little... it's not like, oh god, this is awful, but it's amazing how far shit came. A lot of the movie still looks great. Every movie ages. And Malcolm, of course, says, you did it, you crazy son of a bitch, you did it. Jeff Goldblum pretty much stole the movie here. And Dr. Grant, my dear Dr. Grant, welcome to Jurassic Park. I can't just imagine Sean Connery saying that and then trying to punch a woman. Because Sean Connery thought that was okay for years and then backtrack on it. So, it's a good idea to have this park at first. And then there's the scene where they did the Mr. DNA thing, the animated thing, and the on-screen Richard Attenborough and the literal on-screen Richard Attenborough. He was talking to himself literally. That was a way to condense a bunch of the shit from the book into a little bit. And I think they did a pretty good job there. And stupid, dumb mosquitoes getting trapped in tree sap. God damn it, they ended up, causing this whole damn thing. It isn't the scientists that thought that they should overreach. No, it's the mosquitoes' fault. As opposed to the movie Mosquito. That is a real thing. Look it up, folks. Instead of saying, or do you have anything automated? The lawyer says, are these people autoerotica? What is he trying to say? What is he trying to say? That sounds filthy. I don't think it is, but it sounds filthy. And then babies are being born. B.D. Wong has all of 2 to 3 minutes of screen time. And does good, because B.D. Wong is a very good actor. And condensing Jeff Goldblum's iconic quote. Again, life finds a way. And then we got that Muldoon again, the Spanish pirate currency sounding fellow. He's the game hunter, and he knows all about raptors, and the raptors hunt in packs, and there's this really, really smart one that says they never attack the same place twice, and they're looking for ways to escape. And yeah, maybe we shouldn't have done this theme park with a whole bunch of dinosaurs. That might have been a better idea than what the fuck we're doing. And then basically Donald, the lawyer, he's, a bloodsucker as it is. Which actually leads to a funny line a little bit later. The only one that got to my side is the blood-sucking lawyer. And, your scientists were so preoccupied with whether they could, they didn't stop to think about whether they should. And that's good. And it's a good point. Sam Neill raises a good point. Laura Dern raises a few points from guys and women. That's another story for another day, but they raise very good points. And then the grandkids arrive. Lex and Tim. There are some who call him Tim because that's his name. And the 1993 computer technology, now CD-ROMs. How futuristic. I remember CD-ROMs. Boy, let me tell you, I am so happy with how far technology has come, because the dial-up internet and all that shit, oh, it was rough. It was rough. If you didn't turn the computer down and find a way to limit the noise, you could wake people up from a dead sleep 3 houses down. That's how loud that shit could be. And then, of course, twice, Samuel L. Jackson, who's great in this, says, hold on to your butts. And they go on this tour. And then Dennis, typical angsty nerd, that's Wayne Knight's character. He's talking about being underpaid and everything. I mean, maybe if he didn't eat half his profits. Actually, I think he lost, but didn't he lose weight? I think he lost weight at one point. I don't remember if it was like somewhat after Seinfeld, but I remember that he lost some weight and I think kept it off. Good for him. I think he's still alive. So then Malcolm, at one point, Jeff Goldblum gets Laura Dern wet. You're welcome for that image. Putting the water on her hand, talking about, the ripple effect and all that, and it'll go different ways, the butterfly effect, which actually does kind of make sense for this. Spielberg, from the gross and the profit, the way the profits were negotiated and stuff like that, received $250 million goddamn dollars from this. He was also filming Schindler's List during the time he was filming this. I can imagine he was probably pretty goddamn exhausted. He was quoted as basically saying his love of directing was waning. And I don't blame him for wanting to take a little bit of time off, because Jurassic Park, as far as money and as far as scope, pretty exhausting. And Schindler's List, pretty fucking exhausting subject matter. Liam Neeson was great in that, but ooh, that was rough. But then there's the sick Triceratops. That's one big pile of shit. And honestly, Wayne Knight, Wayne Knight was being the typical shitty bad guy here, and evidently he wished his character had an on-screen death. I think because of the rating, and I also just think due to the fact that there was literal rainfall happening, like the hurricane that hit the set, where they were filming, apparently very goddamn real. Richard Attenborough slept through it. They said, how'd you sleep through it? He said, I survived the Blitz. putting on the blitz. And then basically everybody ends up, realizing, oh shit, and it's caused this whole damn thing to go down. Now things start to go to shit. You think that Wayne would be able, you think he'd be able to drive better at night. And then we get the precursor to the virtual boy, the night vision goggles, as it were. And then the T-Rex arrives, and the T-Rex scene, roaring. Well, Laura Dern had stayed behind to sift through the Triceratops shit, because why wouldn't you? The water ripple effect in the cup. The lawyer runs into the goddamn, outhouse area. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Dinosaur roars. Boy, do I hate being right all the time. Of course, the goddamn, kid starts to turn on a light. Lex turns on a light and blinds the T-Rex. Not a good idea. And then, of course, it was supposed to hit the sunroof, and I think it was supposed to... The way it hit, it went in, like, way too deep. I think it was, like, random, it may have slick, but the T-Rex got way, way closer, I think, than intended, and those kids' reactions are very real. And I'm like, you get goosebumps just thinking about it, because it's like, God, that must have just been frightening for them. And then, things really go bad. Tim gets trapped in the Jeep. The Jeep gets sent over the side. Lex is around, Sam Niels' neck. They manage to swing to the side just before the Jeep falls down. The lawyer had gotten eaten by this point, which was hilarious. Jeff Goldblum got buried in the pile of rubble. The tropical stuff, and then Mano Tiki Tia came up and did all this. And if you get that reference, that deep cut, I love you guys. And, well, let's just say now things are really, really going bad. Like Wayne Knight ends up getting killed, which is kind of funny. In fact, I really do find it kind of funny that Wayne Knight got, destroyed. Just because, I mean, his character was meant to be like the guy that like made this thing go tits up. Let's be perfectly honest. If the system was that easily hackable, then anybody that accidentally spilled coffee on a keyboard could have probably taken that thing down. Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those jeepers? Jeepers creepers, the treeper's eyes. And then the tree drops the Jeep. The Jeep drops out of the tree, however it is. Falls on them. Allie and Muldoon, again, the pirate currency guy. I just can't help but, I can't unhear that. They find Malcolm, and then they go searching for Grant and the kids. And then Malcolm's in the Jeep, sees the footprint and the ripple effect. Come on, we gotta go now. And then suddenly the T-Rex was just hiding behind the tree. Hi. Just does this and chases after him. Must go faster. Which is just great. That's one of the best goddamn scenes in modern movie history. That's just fucking tremendous. Manages to escape. It just gives up at one point after hitting a tree. It's like, fine. Okay, fine. I'll just go over here then. Hammond is a little bit upset, but thinks they can get it back on track. And Ellie says, you never had control. That's the illusion. The illusion, that is. And then basically they have to turn the power off and then they have to turn it back on again. Thank you for calling IT if you try turning it off and on again. Meanwhile, Grant is telling the kids that, their eggs are being hatched and stuff like that. And the sex of the dinosaurs is being changed because they had frog DNA in there. Female frogs apparently can change their DNA. A lot of fascinating science stuff. And now they can reproduce asexually. This is good. This is not good. This is not good at all. Samuel Jackson resets the whole damn thing and then has to go find the power because he's got the power. He's got to go flip the breakers. Well, that doesn't necessarily work. And then meanwhile, there's this running of these Gallimimus, like basically they're dinosaur versions of antelope. They get eaten. Everybody's running around. That was a pretty cool scene, by the way. And then Malcolm says another funny line. But, Pirates of the Caribbean shutting down, right? Yeah, but the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down. The pirates don't eat the tourists. Well, no, now that you got the plan out. Thanks, Malcolm. Gonna hurt your new plan. And They got to go up the fence before it's too late, Grant and the kids, and then the power gets turned back on. Tim gets shocked. They go down, like doing CPR, and a kid that was too stupid to drop down. And then Laura Dern's Ellie is looking, well, for the breakers and stuff like that, and she's getting lost, and Malcolm basically says, follow the piping. I'd like to pipe her. That's enough. That's enough. That's enough. I should stop that. I won't. Samuel Jackson was disarmed at the end of his run here. He actually apparently was supposed to have a scene where he got eaten, but that had to be cut, I think, due to the set being damaged and just due to time constraints. He was disappointed because he wanted to have a cool death. And that sounds exactly on par and on brand for Samuel Jackson. I mean that with respect. So the kids get back, they're eating Jell-O, and then there's always room for Jell-O, and then the Jell-O's shaking, and then the Raptors get into the kitchen. These are terrible sous chefs, as I noted. While Ellie is, and Muldoon are running, and Muldoon's like, I'm going to get this raptor. And then the raptor hunts in packs and does this, and it's like, hi, clever girl. So the Raptors look like they've got everybody cornered. And then the T-Rex saves the day. Thank you, I guess. And then does the roar, and the Jurassic Park thing drops down, and that's it. They take off in the helicopter, and don't worry, we had nothing else. We had nothing. Oh, there's 3 movies here, so we get this. We get Jurassic World. We get the Lost World next. We get the Lost World. It took like 4 years to come out. Steven Spielberg had exhausted himself with this and Schindler's List. I don't blame him. Anyway, yeah, Jurassic Park, 30 years of it. Still holds up, mostly. Anyway, agree, disagree, what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Recklin. I'll see you soon.